Man, usually when I have a bad look on my face, it's not a good thing, but it is a good thing. Believe it or not. Being tired. Pushing yourself to your limit. What even is your limit? Have you ever truly reached your limit? A limit is only something that could be assessed in retrospect. Because growth happens to the end of human life. The end of life. Period. I don't think Russell Wilson is a great quarterback in the league. But when he was on the Broncos, and he was Mr. Unlimited, saying, you need to imagine you're unlimited. I don't go to all of these cliche quotes. I go to that. You need to imagine you're unlimited. That you don't have a limit to what you can offer. And that any belief that you have surrounding your limit is a limiting belief. So you need to throw it out the window. One quote never changed my life. One quote isn't going to change your life, for the most part. It's not the level of famous that something is that's going to make you repeat it. It's what resonates with you. And for me, it's Mr. Unlimited. I don't have a limit. And any limit I think I do have is a limiting belief. So I will throw it right out and push. For the longest time, pushing my hardest came from the fuel of anger, hatred, negative feelings. And I think it is a very potent form of energy, as negative and positive and their absolute values have the same level of power. Something that is extremely positive has the same power as something that is extremely negative. And there are more things in our lives that make you feel extremely negative than there are extremely positive. So a lot of the time, getting yourself out the mud is using that negative, because it has a large absolute value. Now, when you push forward and you overcome and you climb mountains, you move mountains, negativity leaves, because negativity in other aspects holds you back. And when you're trying to push the needle and be better, you're trying to grow. And growing is the removal of negativity. Removing the negative, in my experience, has a greater sum effect than adding the positive. The positive is small, stacked up together, but the negative is large. And that positive will never outweigh the negative unless the negative does not exist. That is why people, when they chase their goals and tell themselves they'll be happy after they achieve it, and they aren't, that's why that happens. Because negativity cannot be outweighed by positivity. It needs to be removed. And negativity is a perception. You choose if something is negative. You choose if something affects you. I think now that I'm saying this out loud, Alex Hormozy, when he talks about the veteran stance of, if I went through this 1,000 times, how would I feel? And if I could feel that on the 1,000th time, then I could feel that now. Negativity is a choice. Negativity is a perception. And if you have a strong enough structure, negativity is an energy that is transferred into positivity. So instead of removing that negativity, you can use it. And in a world full of things that can be perceived negatively, and you are encouraged to perceive negatively, that might just be the way to grow. That is the way to grow. You look at all of these stories. They all have struggle. And they say all you have is the journey. So embrace it. And it's not about how positive can you be at the end of your life, because you have to bring it and put all of your chips in the middle at the end and have them divided amongst everybody. Positivity and negativity affects how you feel. How you feel affects how you use your time, and how affects your time and your action. Your discipline, your mindset, your beliefs, your goals, everything. Motherfucker, everything. So in terms of influence, your emotions are extremely influential. And the thing that is influencing you the most is a choice. It's something you have power over. So that is why, when I hear complaining, that is why, when I see that emotion out of someone else, reactivity, I don't feel sorry. Because it is a choice. It is not something that's definite. Because if it was, then everything that negative that has ever happened to me and that has ever happened to you would always be defined negatively. So how come there are chapters in my life where the negativity was transferred into positivity, and I look back very fondly on those times? And how come there are chapters in my life where things that could have been positive were perceived negatively, and I felt extremely negative as a result? You look back and you play that role in your head. My friend, it is how you felt. It is not what actually happened and the time significance of what happened. It's how you felt. You look back at struggle and you felt negatively as hard times. But struggle to overcome for positivity is looked back fondly. So negative is a perception that you control. Live your life like you dream it, because you only get one. And your dreams are based on your reality. That was a good talk from me, and I hope you got something from it. Thank you, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.